All right. In the event that you have your programs broken out by year, you might want to create a multi-year funding request setup and might need a way to group individual years together. So if we have one request for a 3-year grant, and each year it's going to come out of each one of these programs, we'll go in here, we'll create a funding request. We've created a summer fun camp, and so this camp would like $25,000 a year for 3 years, and so this would be year one. If we go back, you'll see we've got year two, and then if we go into the final one, we have year three. So that's the third year's grant. So each of these is $25,000. What I've done to group these, if you click on the request, I've created an additional object. It's a custom object for funding request groups. If you click on the group will show you that you have a 3-year grant, has the overall start date and end date of that 3-year grant. It has the total sum of the funding requests. If you wanted to roll this up, you could use some sort of roll-up tool. You could use flows or something like DLRS, for example, to summarize these values. So if you needed to do that, you could grab all of the funding requests in this funding request group and total that here, and then you could roll up the disbursements that you've paid to this field here. This one's just a simple formula field that subtracts the two, so you know how much money that you still have to disperse. If you look at the related lists here for the group, you'll see these are the 3 disbursements. I haven't customized the list, but you could show how much each of these is and what the status of each of those are. And then we have the 3 funding requests. And so we have year 1 and year 2 and year 3 all down here. So you could jump into any of the 3 requests. Obviously, you might want to do your own custom naming convention to make that easier. And you can jump in. Let's just look at year 2. So you'll see again here I have this group. Again, if you wanted to, you could start at by creating the group, and then from that related list just create each of your 3 individual years, or you could go into each individual year's program and create the funding request. No right or wrong way to do that. But as long as you fill out that field and you have this linked, and then when you approve the grant, it'll create the disbursement for you. So you can come in here. Again, with automation, you might want to fix this so this auto-populates. In the sandbox, it doesn't auto-populate, so I just had to come in here. This is a custom field I added to disbursements and to the funding request to tie them to that parent funding request group that I created. And if we go back to the funding request group, edit object, I'll just show you, it's just a couple basic fields. And so these are what I have here, just a name, start and end dates, and then those amount fields that I showed in the previous screen. And then some sort of agreement or reference number might be useful when communicating with grantees. And so you could create your own naming convention there for that. So pretty simple. It's more of just a bucket object that doesn't have a lot of detail, but just gives you a good way to connect to all the other child objects related to possibly a multi-year grant request or funding request that somebody submitted to you. Hope that helps.